Well. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money. We are here back again. We're here weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at Fly Nubian Queen TV's YouTube channel. How about that debate last night? We are going to go into it. Make sure y'all are coming into the room, hitting the like button and the share button. We are joined today by Miss Laura Lalaki and Miss Erica Renee. Shout out to y'all. I'm so glad we are going to have this panel. So, as you all know, last night, President Joe Biden and Donald Trump were debating about being the next president of these here United States of America. This episode today at Fly Nubian Money is going to focus on what the Black community should be asking and expecting from these candidates for their votes. Not just these candidates, but also local candidates, just in general when it comes to voting. And so these topics today, and especially for this election cycle, are going to include inflation, the housing crisis, unemployment, minimum wage, gun control, reparations, mobilizing for change, and of course, the immigration debate. So how are you ladies doing? How y'all doing today? Come off your mics. Shout out everybody.
Pretty good. It's just that I hate to see our country so divided. Election years divide us more than church hours. They say the most segregated part of the world is that hour at church on Sunday. And every time these elections come around, we so segregated, it's not even funny. So I always make sure that I take some woosah moments and make sure that I address things within my own importance to see how these candidates can represent us.
Thank you. And how about you, Erica?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I agree with Lala. This is the time of year when we all start, parting like the Red Sea and start giving each other the evil eye. But the one thing that I think is important that as a woman, as a Black woman, is that we actually sit down and think and start looking at the views and start looking at what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And sometimes you have to make a conscious decision for self based on facts. I have found that over the years that as I've been voting since I was 18, is that people get really emotional at this time. And then when they get into the polls, they make emotional decisions. And then when, the results at the end, after that decision has been made, it's like, this isn't the result I wanted. And it's because an emotional decision was made at the poll. So I think it's time for us to start rationalizing and really sit and think and look at the facts and not the rhetorics of what our candidates are saying, and then make a decision that will be beneficial once we get into the polls.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you, ladies, for just going right in there. So, we can take this conversation in many different ways, but I'm going to start us out in the spirit of being facetious and petty. Lala, do you have a Black job?
I do real estate. So I serve many across. But my main concern is that I do help many first-time homebuyers, and many first-time homebuyers are people of color. And one thing that I make sure that I do is I actually teach people before we even get in the streets, okay? We don't even start seeing no houses until I start educating you on the process, because the more that you know, the better. So typically in our households, in our communities, generational wealth is just now starting to really be explored. So it's really important to me to teach our communities this so that they can teach their children and they can teach their children how they can launch into generational wealth with real estate.
Thank you. It sounds like you have a Black job. Erica, how about you? Do you have a Black job?
I have a Black career.
I know that's right.
And what's so funny is I'm just going to let the cat out the bag because people will be surprised. Take a deep breath, everyone. I support Trump. I do. I'm not going to hide it. Lala looking at me like she going to go pray and have a sabbatical. Yes, I do. And I have my reasons for it. But yes, I do have a Black job. I have a Black career. I've had Black jobs all my life because every time I showed up, I was Black.
Facts. Absolutely.
What I will say is a few months ago, I sat on a panel for African Americans for Trump. And there were 6 of us. There were 6 for one administration, and then there were 6 for the administration going into the Republican Party. And it was a very interesting day, to say the least. And it was nice to see people from both sides. But I know you're going to get into that, but I just want to say that it's okay if you have a preference of who you want to support. I support some things. Some things, rhetoric, no. Yes, the man is a bit off to the left. And let me just also say, I believe that both administrations have things within them that are just completely wrong. I think both of them have challenges that they need to work through. And I think both administrations have done their fair share of folly. However, when it comes to the facts, Trump has he has my attention. And yes, Kafunya Life, none of them are coming to save us. You're correct.
Yes, thank you so much for that. If y'all are just tuning in, let me know in the comments what city and state y'all are coming from. Let me know your thoughts on the debate, the presidential debate last night from current President Joe Bill Biden and former President Donald J. Trump. That's what they call him. All right. Let me know who y'all are supporting, Trump or Biden, in the comments. Let us know who you think won the debate. Put all your feedback in there because we will be flashing up your comments. You're tuned in right here at Fly Nubian Money, and we are here weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And guess what? We're also on Spotify. We are on Spotify, so you can catch this and all of our content over there on Spotify at the Fly Nubian Queen channel. What else? Oh, please text the word Queens to the number 87948. That's 87948. That way you will be notified when we go live and all that good stuff. And if you think you have what it takes to be a guest queen on Fly Nubian Money, please email us at info@realvirtual.com. That's REEL virtual.net. .net. info@realvirtual.net. All right. So here we are. Tiffany Anderson in the comments said she didn't bother to watch. I don't really blame you, sis. So we are having this conversation about the presidential debate that happened last night, as well as what Black folks should be demanding for their votes. I know that Erica already took us there. She has a company called Faith in Transition. We also have Lala Key, who is an international real estate guru. And both of these Black women said that, yes, they have Black jobs, or not only Black jobs, but they have Black careers. I wanted to start us out on a petty note to be funny, because during the debate, Donald J. Trump, former President Donald Trump, alleged that immigrants are taking away Black jobs. He literally said that. So we're trying to figure out, all of the internet, Black Twitter, we're trying to figure out, what is a Black job? Does that mean, I don't know, working construction or sanitation? Does it mean working fast food or retail? Does it mean working minimum wage or below minimum wage jobs? So, you know, that it is a trope. It is ongoing. So you're going to hear Black jobs trending a lot on social media. And that's something that came out of the debate last night. I want to clarify that. And I was just being petty. Erica started this off. You already put it out there. You support Donald J. Trump. Is your political affiliation Republican or independent or Democrat, or are you committed to any party?
I have been a Democrat for years, and I've had the experience to see it's been useless over all this time. So I did explore about 10, 15 years ago about changing over. And a friend of mine who's actually a mentor in mass media, he told me years ago, I think I was about 30, and he was young. He was so young. He said to me, "Oh, I'm a Republican." And I was appalled. I was taken aback. I'm like, we're from the hood. We're from the community. How can you do that? And now I'm over here like, yeah, child, I get it.
Gotcha. Okay, so you are a Republican now. Are you a registered Republican? Okay, got you. And Lala, how about you?
I was a Democrat for many, many years. And this last time, I decided to go independent. And I know that causes a lot of people to be in an uproar because they claim we're the ones who's going to split the decision. But historically, independents do end up falling on the Democratic side. I will tell you right now, even though I am a Biden supporter, I'm extremely disappointed in our country. And the reason I'm disappointed is this is all we got. We don't have anyone who has better ideas, younger. We are between two old men, and I know Trump keeps on saying that Biden is old, but baby, you only a couple years younger. So we are at the point where I feel like I'm tired of the lesser of two evils. While I don't support Trump in anything, I never supported him at all, even before he ran for president. I know too much about him and his shenanigans in real estate to know that I don't trust this man. And I know direct information about that. So, no, I never supported him on that. And I never supported all of his lies about being so successful, because truly he's not, only on paper. But for me, I'm just really upset, period, that this is where we are. I truly feel our country is burning. It's completely burning. And the thing is, now it's not who you're for, Biden or Trump. It's the have and the have-nots. That's a different battle. So what they're doing is they're causing so much confusion where we are arguing and fighting with one another that we're not watching and really paying attention to what they stand for and what they're doing for us as Americans, period. Now, I'm of the old school. I'm not going to argue with you. I can sit down and have logical conversations. I may not agree with you, but I bet you if we sat down and we had a logical conversation that we would find a common ground. And I don't know too many people that'll do that. And that's why I just won't engage anymore.
Thank you for that. So people are in the comments asking about Dr. Cornel West and Abdullah. I want to state my position. Like Lala, I was a lifelong Democrat, so much so that I won an election or two. I only ran twice, or won both times. I was elected to serve on the Democratic County Commission for Kings County, which is Brooklyn, New York, right? It's called Kings County. And so I represented my local assembly district and represented literally the people on my block, like within my neighborhood, within the immediate radius of where I was at the time. And I would go to Albany, do a lot of lobbying, do a lot of local lobbying for housing, equity, educational equity, and all of these different things. Work very, very closely with some members on city council and my local assembly woman at the time. And to Erica's point, I decided that, this party is definitely not serving me and my interests as specifically as a Black American, but then also with a lot of my spiritual and personal values that are just legit non-negotiable. Like there's just certain policies that I'm just not going to support. And I emancipated myself from the Democratic Party and did register. I'm a newly registered independent. So the part of that sucks and doesn't really sit well with me is I can't vote in primaries, and I'm used to being a triple prime voter, meaning that every single election that came up, especially all the local elections, all the elections that weren't getting pressed, that don't get pressed, I don't get to vote in those anymore. But in good conscience, I could not rest well at night knowing that I was affiliated with any political parties that just really don't serve my interests and aren't in alignment with my spiritual practice, especially, and a lot of my values. Now, I believe that Trump has a lot of good points. I stand with him, as it pertains to immigration specifically, and importantly, and there's some things that Biden has within the Democratic platform that I also do support, but I just want to put it out there and be very, very clear that I am an independent. And then also in the last election, I didn't vote for Trump or Biden. I voted for the Contract for Black America. I literally voted for Ice Cube the last election because I was like, yeah, I'm not choosing the lesser of two evils. And this time I'm not doing that either. I'm in Washington, D.C. This is a blue district. We're not even a state. Biden, people are going to vote blue no matter who right now in DC. And so I will not be voting for Trump. I will not be voting for Biden in this election. So I wanted to put that out there. Now, let's go to, I saw a comment on the screen, but it just went away. I was going to read it. We also are going to go to, it says the Democratic Party hasn't served our specific interests since the 1960s. However, we unified and demanded tangibles for our votes. Yes, thank you. Shout out to Danette Mitchell. She's wonderful. She's a great journalist. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, ladies in chat, we are going to look at some facts, some comments from last night's political theater. All right, here we are. This one is a fact check on the economy. Trump, we have had the greatest economy in the history of our country, and we have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. And the fact check says this was false. Growth under Trump averaged 2.49%. Growth under Biden is averaging 3.4%. Ladies, what say you on this topic of the economy? Let's go to Lala.
Well, I directly can speak to this knowing that I travel quite a bit. I am overseas quite a bit. I focus a lot on Portugal properties. So a lot of the time I am in Portugal. And I can tell you right now what the people say to us immediately. When I'm over here and I'm talking to people and they find that I'm an American, you want to know one of the first things they say to me? Ooh, such a wonderful country going down the tubes. Are you okay? They're worried about me. Okay. So no, I don't see no other countries copying us. In fact, I see a lot of them having sympathy, which alarms me because I understand and I appreciate their concern because they've been through their own thing. Portugal wasn't really liberated till 1973 anyway. Okay. So they were under a dictatorship. So they see the way that we're going and they're worried for us. But what bothers me is when people have sympathy for us, that shows us in a very weak position. And in the age that we're in now, where all these countries are in such disarray and upset, now to me, we can be a very easy target because they see us as very weak. And I'm seeing that more and more that I travel because I don't just fly directly to Portugal. Sometimes I'm in London. Sometimes I'm in France. And everybody is saying the same thing.
Is that embarrassing?
Yes, it is. Because you know what? I am a patriot. And you won't steal that from me. You're not going to steal me being a patriot, being tied to the shenanigans that people who are calling themselves patriots being. And then I for a while there, I was like, I'm not going to call myself a patriot. Oh, I shouldn't fly my flag. Why not? I'm a proud American. But I find it very interesting that not only you and I, Jay, there's people in the comments saying they also registered independent. What does that tell you? So the fact that you can't vote in the primaries and I can't either concerns me. Those laws need to be changed because every vote, period, needs to count. I don't care. There's not two parties. This should be more than two parties. And we are way behind.
Absolutely. In other countries, they have like 10 political parties. Some of them have mad political parties. But Erica, I want to get your take on that economy fact check. Trump claims that, it was the best. It was best, under him. And the facts said something different. What do you think?
Well, if you look at those numbers, they're both running neck and neck, to be quite honest. And either way, a dozen eggs is just way too expensive, regardless of if you're Republican or Democrat. So we need to come to a conclusion as to what is going on. And I know a lot of people thought yesterday that he did not focus on or did not answer several of the questions that were asked, or Biden didn't ask several of the questions, because honestly, it's a sensitive topic, but it needs to be said that it all results to and boils down to the Immigration Act, the things that are going on with migrants being dropped off. Because my thing is this, yes, it's affecting Social Security. Yes, it's affecting Medicaid and Medicare, because guess what? These folks have to be taken care of. So where is the money coming from? Are we printing new money somewhere? No, we're not. It has to come from someone. And I know Biden said about taxing all the billionaires. I looked at it last night. I think it's 65 or 67 billionaires. But that's what, 65, 67 people, and how many middle class people are there working? That money is coming from us. And you don't know what it feels like and you don't know what it looks like until you actually see the buses pull up and people are getting out and they're getting their little gift cards with $2, $3, and $4,000 on it, and they're getting their cell phones, and then they're getting their bag lunch, and they get to walk into these elite hotels where you and I with black faces would never be invited to stay in, or we're not allowed to stay in. But here they get to walk in there and then mistreat the place, beat it down to the dreads. It is horrible. So yes, it all boils down to, and this is the one thing that I respect Trump because he was consistent. It boils down to the migrant issue. Crime has gone up. Money is almost obsolete. I mean, I even had my identity stolen, and it was, guess what? Somebody was working under my social security number. And who was it? Undocumented. So this is something we all need to it's a red flag. If you are a working American, a black American, you need to be running your social security number and looking at it, because somebody could be using your social security number to work under. And yes, it is usually the undocumented, unfortunately. So again, it is an extreme issue and something has to be done. I don't think the answer is building a wall, but I do think the answer is like, hey, let's put some structure to this. I mean, this country was built on immigration, but there was a thing called Ellis Island where there's documentation and there's records of things. So my thing is no, it's not a whole attitude of like, don't come here. It's an attitude of like, hey, welcome. If you're going to be here, there's protocol that needs to be taking place. Like Lala said, I spent 3 years as a cruise director. I have been in Australia 4 months. I was in New Zealand for 6 weeks. I was in Brazil for 90 days. You are not walking in these countries and just kicking your feet up and just chilling and you're going to live on the dole and just, become a part of society like it's okay. You're not. And I think that's something that we need to start doing, is saying, hey, enough is enough, because guess what? Our working class pay taxes, and we can allow them to have to take the burden on of whoever's coming through the doors.
Wow.
I got to piggyback on that. I got to piggyback on that. And I agree with Erica on this, in the fact that I have always been one. I believe in the American melting pot. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up when the junction, what's your function? Right. Okay. I believed in the great American melting pot. But if you're going to do that, do it right. I don't want you coming over here and then sliding under the radar, having your babies over here, and then all of a sudden the parents have to come. There's a big, deep thing about that. But America is known as the great American melting pot. And if you want to come to America, just like in Portugal, do you know how much paperwork I have to go through just to be in Portugal for a certain amount of time? They do it right. Do it right or don't come.
I'm sorry, Jade. It even goes back to that issue with the health crisis. Think of it this way. You see these spike in numbers of all of these different diseases from the CDC. Think about it this way. Before you go into, as an American, before you leave here and go into specific countries, you have to get vaccinations against things that are maybe there, that you may be susceptible to. So now everyone's coming here and bringing it. Are we being protected from that?
Interesting questions. We are live and direct right now, right here at Fly Nubian Money on Fly Nubian Queen TV network. Y'all need to make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this broadcast. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. And make sure you text the word Queens, Queens, to the number 87948. That's 87948. We are having an intelligible conversation on various sides of the political spectrum regarding last evening's, in my opinion, train wreck of a presidential debate, or sham of a presidential debate. The options that Americans are forced to choose from in this election cycle 2024 are quite deplorable, in my opinion. So we're having this conversation and we're talking about it. We're about to bring up a new guest. Her name is Vanessa Gopal. She is an entrepreneur with a master's and extensive study in public policy. I'm really grateful to be also joined by Miss Erica Lewis. She's the author of Faith in Transition, and our sister Lala Key, who is an international real estate agent and guru. You ladies so far have a lot of perspective as it pertains to living in other countries, etc. I saw a comment by my friend Danette Mitchell in the comment section, and she said that Dr. Claude Anderson has always taught us that immigration in general, legal or illegal, immigration hurts Black Americans in many, many ways. And I do agree with that. A while ago, I think it was 2016, I was not for building a wall, but at this time, I'm not even mad if a wall is being built. I'm just gonna be honest. All right, I want to welcome Miss Vanessa Gopal to the panel. We see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please come off your mic and let us know your general thoughts on the Biden-Trump debate.
Hello, Queens. How are y'all doing today? And thank you for having me. I thought it was a train wreck, honestly. I think that I wasn't expecting to see any different from Biden, because I feel like if you've been paying attention to politics, you've seen a dramatic decline. If you watch the 2020 debate, it was a lot different than what we saw last night. I think he was, at times he just looked aloof. He looked like he didn't know what he was talking about, and it was very sad. Trump lied about a lot of things, but I think we were all watching the debate to see how Biden performed and was he mentally there. And so I thought it was a train wreck for the Democrats. But I think it's something that we've been seeing for quite some time now. So I'm not really sure that I was expecting to see anything different. I just have a hard time believing that that is the person that the Democrats decided that they were going to run with.
Me too. Listen, I kept saying, like, when I saw the way California Governor Gavin Newsom performed in that debate against Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, I was like, yes, Newsom is the one who should be running against Trump. I just really think that he could he could give him some competition. There were moments last night where President Biden's face got stuck. I wasn't really sure, where his reactions were going. It seems like there was a delayed reaction. And again, he is 83 years old. He's in that season of his life. It's okay to, sit back and enjoy your grandchildren and retire and things. But I also understand people who are called for public service. It's like, that's a part of our lifestyle, right? We want to be in service. And so it may be hard to kind of tame that, but the Democratic National Convention has not happened yet. So I'm wondering if the Democrats will pivot. To Vanessa's point, I saw a lot of the pundits, especially on CNN, they were having a fit. They were throwing a tantrum about the political state that we're in, and then also how bad the presidential debate was. And I know we have a clip. I kind of want us to go to that clip, but before we do, I think Erica, you raised your hand and you wanted to share something, and then we'll also let Lala speak to those points as well.
No, I was just going to just add on to her point. There is a cognitive issue. Many years ago, I did work in the health and wellness sector, and there is a cognitive issue. However, I think one of the things we need to be very aware of, whether you're Democrat or Republican, is if this man gets in office, if Biden does win, if he's able to pull it, and go through the polls and win, and if something happens to him, we are now looking at Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. Is that something that we want? That is really something to think about. This woman did a sit down. I don't know if it was a debate, but it was a few days ago. And she made a reference to 20 acres and a mule, not 40 acres, but said it was 20 acres and a mule. So it's like, are you changing the narrative of, what, Black Americans are, of what reparations are? Are you taking reparations and you're funding other folks with it? It just kind of leaves you to the illusion as to wonder. And another thing that we really need to realize and understand, that as Black Americans, when people come to this country, they are automatically put under the guise of being Black. They're automatically put under the checkbox of being Black. When it's time to file for EOF, it's time to go to college or financial aid, they're Black. When it's time for them to register for school, they're Black. So we have to really understand that. Even at the police department, I remember a friend of mine told me that there's a thing as white Latina and Black Latina. I didn't know that, and it's on paper. So when you register, if you're my complexion, you are considered a Black, then a Latina. So we have folks that are coming here from different countries that are benefiting from the part of being Black and reaping those benefits. So when they're put under that checkbox of Black, it looks like Black people are being helped, but we're not.
Thank you for that. Before I go to Lala, I do want to thank you for bringing up the reparations point. You said that Vice President Kamala Harris said use the term 20 acres and a mule. Even if we get lineage-based reparations, meaning those of us who are indigenous, like myself, I am indigenous to America, okay? On all sides of my family tree, we are Black Indians and we are Black Americans, and we've been here for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And so if we're talking about lineage-based reparations, she wouldn't even qualify, right? And so that is a whole other conversation around who qualifies, who doesn't qualify. But if we're talking about lineage-based reparations, she probably don't know what she's talking about or know the history, and she definitely wouldn't qualify. So I wanted to add that. Sister Lala, let's go over to you again.
Well, I can speak directly to the California thing. I've been based in California for the last 15 years. And during the pandemic and all that stuff, I did have high approval for Governor Newsom. I do have a lot of respect for him, but I also have a lot of things that I question him on too. I tell you, I'm a weird person. Okay, I like to feel like I am able to agree and disagree on both sides. Now, I think Newsom would be a good candidate for that. I also think that he has a lot of weak points that people are starting to point out and fuss at that about what's going on in California. In the fact that we do have a lot of illegal immigrants coming in, and you know, we have the Tijuana effect coming in a lot. So people are starting to see that our homelessness is off the chain. I can't even, let me give you an example. When the pandemic started, we couldn't go to any gyms. We couldn't do all that. Remember, we all got shut down. So I started working out outside. I would walk. I walk 5 miles a day. That's my minimum. The same path that I would take during my morning walk, I had to change because the homelessness was so bad that I could not walk past the tents because they smelled. They were full of diseases. They were, and I kid you not, they really did have a lot of diseases going on. So why would I want to walk through that? So although I see some good points in Newsom, and I feel like he'd be a little bit younger blood, I'm tired of fighting. We need term limits for every damn body. Everybody needs term limits. The president got them. Okay, so why isn't Congress have them? Why doesn't the Supreme Court have them? Why doesn't our local politicians have them? Term limits. You cannot be a career politician. Now, I know Biden is, and he knows how to walk through the weeds because he's been doing this for a long time. But what are you doing at the Democratic Party? You don't speak for me anymore. How can you think like the Republicans are? And that's what
I agree. I agree. I completely agree, because then it becomes an ego. Are you here to serve, or is this all about you and you creating a legacy? Politics is all about service, and no one wants to give. It's all about, what can I take? Because you better believe, even though all of his needs are met, they want their paychecks, whatever they get. They want all their benefits, or all their perks, or everything they're supposed to get. So yeah, this is all about service. So yes, I agree. And there are several senators that have been senators for decades, longer than I've been alive.
Before I was born.
There. Yes.
Before I was born.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Yeah, I think
we're going to pause for a second, and we're going to watch this video clip. We're going to watch the video clip of these reactions to the debate, and then we're going to turn it over to Vanessa. She's our resident political policy expert, and I would definitely want to get your perspectives on this. So we're going to do that. And in the meantime, in between time, I see the chat is going off. I need y'all to go ahead and hit the like button, share this broadcast. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Make sure you text the word Queens to the number 87948. That way you will be notified when we go live. And just so you know, we are on Spotify, and we're here at Fly Nubian Queen TV. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let's take a look at this video clip to prove that this was a train wreck last night.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all, and he looked. I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can, but he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and that was painful.
Miss Vanessa Van Jones said it was painful. Please give us your analysis of what he said, and also if you want to share with your political affiliation with us. I don't think we caught that.
Yeah. So, Jade, what was the last thing you asked me to share? I'm sorry, the mic went out.
Oh, your political affiliation.
So I'm independent. I'm married to policies. I'm not married to people or parties. And I think that's an important thing that as a Black community, I think that's essential, because when you just start voting because someone is Democratic or Republican and you're not really looking directly at the policies they're producing or bringing forth, then you're doing a disservice to the community and a disservice to yourself. So I'm a registered independent voter. I look at policies. One of the things, just to piggyback off term limits, I completely 100% agree with term limits. I think one of the biggest issues that we have in America is that politicians are meant to service the people. But the reason why we see these perpetual long terms of service with the Senate, with certain Congress members, is because you have these huge PACs and they donate millions of dollars. So once you're in there, you shake hands with whoever you want to shake hands with, whether that be the NRA, the APAC, another corporate PAC, and they donate millions of dollars. So when you have an incumbent or a new runner coming up against you, it is very difficult to combat that. We just saw that in New York, where they spent 25 million versus 5 million. So I think we have a deeper issue of not only our politicians are not there to serve our people, but they're there to serve corporations, PACs, people that give them money. There's not enough red tape. There's not enough laws to stop these huge investments from corporations and PACs, which is a huge problem. I mean, this is why you see, senators where, the senator of Kentucky, what's the old guy? I can't think of his name right now, but he's,
Mitch McConnell.
Thank you, Mitch McConnell. I mean, we all know he should have been out. If you look at his state, they are the lowest in education. They have the lowest per capita income per household. There's nothing policy-wise that would, make him stay there for that long, where a person would be like, hey, this is the guy. Besides the fact that he's very powerful because he's been able to shake hands. He has a lot of investments from different PACs, the NRA. So I think that's the bigger issue in terms of policy. And I think that's the part of the reason why we're seeing Biden at the top as well, because we're not looking at it from the perspective of politicians servicing people. It's politicians servicing PACs. So, we all know whether or not you're independent, Republican, Democratic, Biden is not fit to be president. And that's just the bottom line. And I mean, Trump, I'm no Trump fan either. Trump is he lies. Every time he opens his mouth, it's a lie, but he did look more mentally sound than Biden yesterday. So, to Van's point, it was a disaster, and it was really sad to see. It was like watching my grandpa get up there, and I actually feel bad for him.
Thank you. I don't feel bad for him because that's Joe Crime Bill Biden. I'm going to continue to be petty, but Joe Crime Bill Biden was responsible for getting a lot of Black men removed from their homes and massively incarcerated. And then also Donald J. Trump, was about falsely accusing the Central Park 7? And shout out to Yusuf. I know he's now in office. Yusuf Salam. He's also in office right now in New York. But it's a lot going on with these candidates. But Vanessa, I wanted to ask you another question because you do have a background in policy. The LGBT community has been very successful in mobilizing for effective change to meet their particular agenda. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with their agenda, but it's just a fact that they have been very, very, very successful in mobilizing and affecting change within their interests. What can we, as the Black community, learn from their strategies to better advocate for the Black community?
I'm a big proponent that civic engagement should be something that's taught at home. And I think that, it should, in my household, my father was, he grew up in Selma, Alabama, in a time where he was drafted to war. He could not vote. So I have a lot of aunts. He marched on Bloody Sunday with Dr. King. He was jailed. So civic engagement was a big part of my life just growing up. Like it just was a part of the family tradition. So in terms of, us as a Black community coming together, I think it's very important to start teaching the importance of civic engagement in the household. A lot of us don't even know who our local elected officials are. They don't know what are, and to me, that's arguably more important than a president. Because if you have people in the Congress and the Senate who are pushing policies and money into those policies that help the Black community, the president is, he'll be gone in 4 or 8 years. But because of the term issue, these people stay around for generations. So I think that the civic engagement for our Black community should be taught at a very young age. We should, the same way we teach our children, hopefully about money or investing or, civic engagement should be taught at a very young age. We should, like podcasts like these, and, we should be getting together, talking about these issues to educate people and let them know that they need to start looking at the policies that are directly affecting the Black community. But, I think it should just be taught in the home. I think that should be a requirement in each Black family.
Thank you so much. Yeah, because that was definitely my household, even with my grandparents, both sets of my grandparents, civic engagement, education, those things were very, very important. And even with my parents, they worked all day and they came home. My mom made dinner and we sat around and we watched the news together every single night. So we were very, very aware. And we had to, we had these sorts of conversations. And I think that definitely matters. I want to go over to you, Lala, next, because I have a question for you about economic policies. Now, I know that you're in the housing and real estate industry. So what are the candidates' plans to improve access to affordable housing and home ownership for Black families? Did you hear any policies that are coming out of either the Biden camp or the Trump camp? And how do you think the policies on affordable housing and Black home ownership, should change and shift moving forward into 2025?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't hear anything from the Trump side. Biden did mention that he was going to try to get a rein in on the homelessness and building and making homes affordable again. But what we fail to believe is politicians can tell you anything they want to get your vote. I have not necessarily seen much success what's going on in the administration in that situation, which deeply concerns me. Now, the previous administration, which was Trump, also did absolutely nothing and put in Ben Carson, who is a surgeon, over the HUD department, who absolutely knew nothing about housing other than the fact that he came from the ghetto. And that's what he will tell you that he did. But they are going to have to address this situation. People are living on the streets. I know people who are functioning at a middle class level who are literally living in their cars. They go to the gym. They have a gym membership. They go and wash up and take a shower at the gym, and then they get dressed and then they go to work. This is a problem in America where we cannot continue to move forward, where people do not have a roof over their heads. There are many, many different options to do, even if you have to do mini homes, which everybody keeps throwing out there, but nothing is being done. So I would say we are at a loss right now because all people are only talking and nobody's standing behind the chatter that they're saying. And I agree in the fact that we have to really be paying attention to what they're actually doing, because every time they talk about, let me give you an example. Los Angeles, Karen Bassett, she is over this stuff. She ran on the platform that she was going to help the homelessness, and all these people got behind her. And they had all this money, but yet We keep running on this platform and nothing is getting done, and the money is getting stolen and nobody's getting prosecuted. So this is actually what I'm seeing. So I need to see more money put into the fact of home ownership. I need to see more put into the education of home ownership. I need to see more information about down payment assistance and not giving these banks these extra bonuses that you're giving them, and they're not giving them to other people, and the CEOs are walking away with high bonuses. I need to see more action in my community, and not just with the nonprofit. I need each state to have something very well put into place to help people walk into their home ownership. And this also addresses the fact that there's still redlining going on. They want to put you where they want you to be put. And they are doing it in voting districts. Y'all not thinking about that. These places that they want to steer you to are in voting districts. You are not getting the power of your vote because of these stupid electoral college vote things that are going, which needs to be thrown out. So I know I have plenty of things to say on that. I'm not going to just suck up that, because I am really behind home ownership. If you have home ownership, you have a piece of land. And what they say, buy land. They're not making any more of it. And that's something that you can power off into for your children and your grandchildren. So neither party is doing what they need to do about the homeless situation.
Thank you so much. Pretty Richie says, stop funding wars that do not concern America directly. Fund America's homelessness. Ashe, I definitely agree with that. Now, Sister Erica, I have a question for you. What specific policies do you think should the Black community, Black Americans demand to support Black-owned businesses and promote entrepreneurship?
I'm a huge advocate for reparations. We need that, point blank and period. It needs to be done, regardless of how it's given, whether it's given on one big bulk, whether it's given over a period of time, over a period of months, over a period of years, because it is time for us to go back to our communities. Point blank. Every nationality has their community. We have the little Italies of the world. We have the little Haitis of the world. We have the little DRs in the world. We have these little subdivisions within the neck of our community. But every time we have our own, people are always dropped in droves into where we are, and it's just not fair. Why is it that we cannot have our own community where it's just our businesses, and that's where we shop and cycle our money? That's what I'd like to see. I'm a huge advocate for reparations, and I'd like to see it in this lifetime.
Thank you. And when you say reparations, what forms of reparations? Are we talking about just cash payments? Are we talking about land? Specifically, what do you think, Erica?
It really just depends on what an individual's needs are. I have a family member. We have land in Virginia. She's a cousin on my grandfather's side, my mother's father, huge amounts of land. So land wouldn't be my thing because I have access to it. But cash, absolutely cash on my end. But if you have someone who is a farmer who has those agricultural skills, if that would mean something to him, then he should get it in that manner of which he's able to serve and thrive and then be of service to his people.
Thank you. I would like to stick with the reparations topic for just a moment. And Ms. Vanessa, I'd like to hear any of your thoughts policy-wise, as it pertains to lineage-based reparations for Black Americans.
So I think that's a key point too. I think lineage-based reparations is the most important because as I was listening before I came on, there are a lot of people that come here and they're just kind of categorized in the Black category. So I think it's important to delineate between, foundational Blacks and then people who come here because our experiences have been different. Our ancestors' experiences have been different in America. I agree. I think that reparations is long overdue. I think that the biggest form of reparations should be in real estate or land. I think that creates generational wealth. When you leave behind equity, you can pass it down. So for sure, there should be some sort of land or real estate involved. If not land or real estate, maybe a large amount of cash so that a person could use it to purchase real estate. In addition to, I don't believe that Blacks should be taxed, for at least 30 years. I don't know. I think that we should have some additional tax incentives. We look at corporations, we look at it's certain businesses and immigrants who come here and they're able to open businesses tax-free. in certain communities. So I believe that we are long overdue. We've paid enough in taxes, and I think that we should get a break from taxes and also receive some sort of land or real estate that is, worth that we can leave behind and create generational wealth with.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna just put this question out there to the panel. Whoever comes off the mic first can just chime in. How many times did y'all hear the word reparations last night in that presidential debate? Oh, all right. 0. Yeah, that just didn't come up. And we have been organizing and advocating for reparations, lineage-based reparations. So let's move on. Yeah, things like free education, land, of course. I love the idea of not having to pay taxes. Like, what am I paying taxes for? Y'all stole labor from my ancestors for hundreds of years and stole our land. Student loan debt, right? I know that Biden has been doing a lot around student loan relief, student loan debt relief. Do we want to talk about that? Any thoughts on Biden's policies versus Trump policies as it pertains to the economy and student loan debt?
Well, I think Biden has that's been his soapbox, so to speak, because he had to do something to get people to come out and vote for him. And everybody likes young people, and that's one of the things that was talked about after the broadcast last night is the younger generation of voters. Who in which direction are they gearing to? So the best way to do is talk about those student loans, and then you have the Gen X. People my age who have been out of college 25, 30 plus years. I have a friend who's still paying back a student loan. He's older than I am. He graduated from college in 88. And I'm like, you still paying a student loan? Like, when is it forgiven? When does it get to a place where it is forgiven? However, I digress. But I think that is his soapbox, because honestly, that is the one thing that can catapult him, because that's bridging the gap. You've got the younger generation who doesn't want to end up like their parents, still paying student loans 25, 30 years later. So that's a bridge of the gap for him. And that is the one thing that he's probably passionate about. And he thinks it's just going to take him over the edge. And I doubt it will.
Can I just piggyback off that? This is one of the things that has bothered me the most about Biden, because this is actually Obama's policy. The things that Biden is doing, saying that he's erased student loan debt, that's something that Obama implemented. Loan forgiveness is something that Obama implemented. So once again, it's this white man taking credit for the policies of the previous administration, which, you can say what you want about Obama, but he did get a lot of things passed. We can't expect him to undo 400 years of unfairness in an 8-year term. But Biden hasn't done anything extra for student loans. He's basically taken what Obama put in place, and he's looked at some of the applications who may have been slow processing, and he's processed them on faster. He hasn't implemented a new policy that has deleted or, that is Obama's policy. So, when I hear Biden talk about this, it's great that the people whose loans have been forgiven, but it's not to the point of what he ran on, even if he's using Obama's policy to expedite the loan forgiveness. So, in my opinion, I still have student loans that I'm paying on. I went to USC, which is extremely expensive. So, and if it wasn't for some of the policies passed in the Obama administration, my student loan payments would be astronomical. So it's a problem, but it's not being resolved to the level that it should be by this administration.
Thank
I
you
don't
so
think
much.
they're ever going to do that. I'm sorry, I need to jump in real quick.
Mhm.
I think that's a key word. I think they like to throw keywords at us to make us get upset and get excited about things that are not happening. And so every time they feel like they're behind, and I mean the elite, not just presidents, but the congressmen and representatives up there, they throw out the keywords to get a buzz going, to get us angry, and nothing never gets done. So once again, we have to go back to what exactly are you really doing for us? Because you talk about it, but you're not walking the walk. And I need to see that. And that's what disappoints me the most about my country right now, is that we are so busy arguing and fighting with one another about little things that honestly they feel like they don't have to do anything, because we're too busy down here saying you and you and you and blah, 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 that they don't want, that nothing is getting done at all until they find the next hot button that makes us angry, and nothing gets done on that. So it's just a round robin of things that are not getting done, period.
Thank you for that. We're about to watch a video and then we're going to wind down. This hour has gone by way too quickly, y'all. That's why you all need to get the text messages by signing up at the number 87948 so you don't miss any part of these conversations and you are notified when we do go live. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, Fly Nubian Queen TV, and then also check out our website at flynubianmoney.com. That's flynubianmoney.com. Of course, we are having this conversation about how horrible the Biden-Trump debate was last night. We are going to watch a video real quick, and then we are going to start to wrap the conversation. I want to hear in the comments, let us know, who are you supporting? Are you supporting the old man or the con man? Who are you supporting in this election? The old man versus the con man. Let us know, old man or con man. Put it in the chat. And shout out to my sister, Darlene X. I see you. All right, let's go ahead and watch this video right quick.
And he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser. Get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
You're the sucker. You're the loser. You're the loser. You're the sucker. You're the sucker. You're my son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser. You're the sucker. You're the loser. You're the loser. I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers.
Lord have mercy. Woo! This is what we got to work with, y'all. So we're going to go around and get some final thoughts. We're going to get some final thoughts. Suckers and losers and old men and con men and Democrats and Republicans and all types of things happening at the debate. Inflation was brought up, so many things. Let's start with final thoughts. I want to go over to you, Miss Erica. Let us know your final thoughts, key takeaways from this conversation, as well as the debate. The chat, I want y'all to do the same thing. And then also, Erica, let us know where we can find you.
Yes, my final thoughts. I want everyone to remember that, Trump is not a politician. He is not. He is a businessman. Now, you may look at it and go like, "Oh, but the business deals he does." It's still business. It is business. And the business of this country has been at risk for many, many years, and we have so far to go. We've gotten so far, but we have so much further to go. It is time. I'm not here advocating, telling you who to vote for, but I am stating my reason for why I support him. Another reason why I do support is, you know what? I am really tired of us as the American people and as taxpayers being unsafe. I'm tired of us not being able to walk down the street. I'm tired of women being attacked randomly walking their dogs or sunbathing. It is just getting to be ridiculous. I'm tired of people having their identity stolen. I'm a taxpayer. I've been working since I was 15 years old. So why is somebody being able to, just get dropped off here off a bus and just reap the benefits of everything that I worked for since I was 15? You've got to be kidding me. Another thing that I want everyone to realize is that when you go to other countries, you cannot do the rhetoric that is happening here. You cannot get off of an airplane and set up your feet and just do what you want to do. A lot of countries do require you have an itinerary. A lot of countries require that you have bank statements to support the fact, like, hey, if there is a war in your homeland and you can't get home, can you financially support yourself while you're here? So it's really time that we sit back and think about, some of the things that are really taking place here. Immigration is a thorn in our side, and it's going to be our Achilles heel because it is going to affect our safety and our finances and our retirements if we are not careful. You can catch me at www.faithandtransition.com and on social medias at Miss Erica Renee.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go over to Vanessa. Vanessa, we would love your final thoughts. Let us know where we can find you. And you missed the opening icebreaker question. Do you have a Black job? Please let us know, let the chat know if you have a Black job. Girl, I need to know if you got a Black job or not, or a white job. But go ahead.
Oh Lord. Well, I mean, I'm going to say I have a Black job because I'm an entrepreneur and it's something that I push. And I think that all Black folks, even if you're working a 9 to 5, you should have another income stream, and it should be something of an entrepreneurship. I believe in multiple income streams. And I believe that Black people are the most creative and the most successful at figuring things out, and we figure it out all the time. So my last thoughts are, Lord, how did we get here? That's what my thoughts are. I mean, you have one candidate who is, a complete liar, and then the other one who he doesn't even know he's the president half the time. So, I think it's just really important to delve into the policies that they, propose, and at this point, just vote on who you think is the best for your position, for the position of the Black community. I'm still undecided. I'm an independent voter. I want to take more time to research and look through what we have, because it isn't much. I'm not happy at all with the choices, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. We have to, delve and look into policies. There's certain things that I do agree with on the conservative side. There's things that I agree with on the Democratic side. I'm over the homelessness issue. I live in Los Angeles too. It's crazy. It's out of hand, and we've paid billions of taxes. It's not figured out. This is a Democratic state. That really pisses me off. But then on the other hand, you have, women's rights, and it's just so much to, it's just a lot to unveil. And for me personally, I'm undecided. I think as the time nears, I'm just going to see what the parties do, and if they push any more policies forth that really, make me lean towards one or the other, then I'll decide then. And you can find me on Instagram at Vigo Paul. You can also find me at Winter Remodeling Incorporated. That's my construction company in Los Angeles. And once again, that's Winter Remodeling Incorporated. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you back more often. And Miss Lala, final thoughts. Final thoughts, and where can we find you?
Well, we're at a point of no return. America is burning. America is burning fast. And it's going to be a long time before we raise ourselves from these ashes like a phoenix. And it's actually us, not the politicians, that are going to need to get together and decide on what our basic foundations are. Doesn't mean that we have to agree on absolutely everything, but we do have to have at least a firm foundation of being a proud American and how we want this country to regrow. I hate to say I feel like my country is dead. I'm witnessing it, but I refuse to be a part of a division that is not valid, in the fact that I will not allow them to divide us as the citizens and the Americans of America into the have and have nots. You cannot promise and talk out the side of your mouth. We know that this has been happening for years. Stevie Wonder even has a wonderful song about that. Okay, I sing it every day because I'm mad at both of them. And I'm really sorry that I have to make a choice between the two men in diapers. Every time we talk about this debate, I see two babies, two toddlers. Michael, no, you. I'm not going to do that. We're grown folk, and grown folk do the right thing. And you can find me everywhere. I made it real easy. You can find me at bit.ly/Laura King Info. And one more thing. You ain't got to be stuck, baby. It's a great big old world out here. Many people are experiencing and exploring the fact that you can live outside your country and still be a wonderful American. Open your mind.
Thank you so much. Before we wrap this up and give my final comments, I'm gonna thank everybody in the chat. I see you all are super engaged. We're so grateful to have you here. It's so important that we have these sorts of conversations, and that's why we invite you to follow us on social media platforms, flynubianmoney.com. Also, check us out on Spotify. Text the word Queens, QUEENS, to the number 87948. That's 87948. I am Jay Harrell. I'm an educator. I'm a social entrepreneur and activist. I also do coaching for those of us who are interested in providing service in the Black community or have dedicated our careers, entrepreneurship, businesses, organizations to serving Black folks. And we really work on resilience and building up a high level of racial esteem as we continue to do this work as social justice warriors. You can go over and follow the work at highblackesteem.com, highblackesteem.com. My final thoughts are, listen, it's like that movie that Whoopi Goldberg was in back in the 80s or 90s. It's called Ghost. I don't know if y'all saw Ghost. And that's when Whoopi Goldberg turned to the chick, Demi Moore, and said, "You in danger, girl." That's how I feel about America. America, you in danger, girl. Let's look at some stats right quick as we wrap up about where we are right now. All right. We fact checked the economy growth under the Trump administration. We talked about that. Unemployment. Trump claimed his term ended with the unemployment rate at 6.3%. And with Biden, the unemployment rate dropped to 3.4%, lower than the best month during Trump's term. More fact checks, more stats. Biden and Trump debate. Let's see. Wide differences between Biden and Trump supporters on key cultural issues in the presidential campaign. Gun ownership does more to increase safety by allowing law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. You can see the scale there. This one is about the legacy of slavery affects the position of Black people in America's society today with great deal or fair amount. This is what the polls are showing, right? And these are what voters are saying. We are definitely divided on the issue. Society is better off if people, we're going real fast. Okay. Biden leads Trump by a wide margin among Black voters. All right. We see all Black voters, Biden, where they're leaning towards Biden at 77% and leaning towards Trump 18%, right? And more Black men leaning towards Trump than Black women, but overwhelmingly Biden. But let Trump tell it, he got the Black vote on lock. Let Biden tell it, if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black. I mean, look at these stats, y'all. Black voters, okay? Just take a look at these and definitely watch the replay, slow them down and look at the research. Woo, America, you in danger, girl. The numbers aren't looking so good. It's a lot going on, but we will continue to have political conversations right here at flynubianmoney.com. You can find us weekdays, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. 1 p.m. Eastern time, come over to the Fly Nubian Queens YouTube channel. Yeah, that's all I got. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Ladies, I would love to hear your voices. Come off your mic and say goodbye to our audience, and we'll see you back on soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Take care, y'all.